Hey everybody, this is Bruh Speak of the Bruh Speak podcast. I tried to do this live stream earlier this morning, but my internet went to the shitter, so apologize for that. But we was talking about Priscilla last night, aka the Queen Maker, aka Priscilla Clark, and how she's just rising in these spaces. I mean, she's been pretty much uh, the famous red pillars. She's been around with the pro blacks. Literally, she's making her rounds, and the women love her. Some hate her. Well, the men are agitated by her. Um, and I kept hearing like on Verbal's channel, we were talking about it, and they kept trying to compare her to Kevin Samuels, and I'm like, she's not Kevin Samuels. Priscilla is like Ramil Amir. And if you've heard of Ramil Amir, you know how his stance on these women. All these women are hoes. Uh, you use them for your own pleasure, and then you get back to doing what you need to do. They are not. They shouldn't be the center of your universe. They should. I think he said take up 7% of your time, and that's it. Don't be falling in love with them. Don't marry them or nothing like that. Because again, they're not worth your time. So really, Priscilla is saying the same thing, but on the female side, these men are not worth your time. They shouldn't be the center of your universe. Um, you know how they are, so act accordingly. That's pretty much what she is. It's I liken her to a female black pillar. Um, she's one of these women. Hey, this is the true nature of men. Whether you choose to believe it or not, it's immaterial. So either act accordingly or don't deal with them at all. And of course, again, it's the preaching of indifference. And you see with Ramil and even Ty City, when they preach indifference, these men are losing their shit. Well, we can't be indifferent. We got this. They ruining society. We got to stop them. And they're like, no, no, you don't. One, you ain't got no power, and two, if you don't have no power, how you gonna stop them? You literally let them do what they do. You make sure that you are protected from whatever stupid decisions that they make, and what if they try to harm you, you make sure you're protected so they cannot mess with you. That's what he's preaching. And that's what Priscilla is preaching. Is that, hey, these dudes are gonna do dumb shit. They're gonna cheat on you, they're gonna lie to you, they're gonna do all these different things. So act accordingly. Don't make them the center of your world. And again, and the problem with that Ramil has with other male YouTubers is the same issue these women that Priscilla's gonna have with a lot of these women. It's very difficult for people to do indifference. Now, on the women's side, they can be indifferent to a guy like me because, I'm not their desired guy. But to a guy who's real attractive, a guy who might be like the father figure, like a Kevin Samuels, or a guy who champions for them, quote unquote, They can't be indifferent to that. And I see this from the women who support the red pill, from the women who the sisterhood that's against the red pill, from the divestors to the swervers and everybody and the pro black women and all that in between. They cannot be indifferent. They care too much because everything they do, it seems to be following these men, and it's not even like the strongest men out there. They following the goofy ones. You know, like let's take Derrick Jackson for an example. Now they know a lot of his shit was bullshit, but because he's so attractive and he say it in a way that's so smooth, women gonna flock to it. He, on the reverse with Kevin Samuels, they saw Kevin Samuels a lot of times as a father figure, that father that they were missing in their lives, so they gravitated to him. Or someone like an Honest Truth, who was, oh no, deal with white men. Don't worry about these black men. They trash. Meanwhile, he kind of acted like the black men that they knew it was. Or they would talk about the gay black men who be going against the mainstream. But wait a minute, he's a gay dude. But you don't deal with weak men. But they will deal with them if they promote their message. And that's where the issue comes in. These women can't be indifferent to these guys at all. They can't not care. Now, yelling and screaming, they may be hatred, but it means you still care. And all these women cannot take that message of indifference. That's why there is some pushback with Priscilla. That's why I say she is not a Cynthia G. For all the talk that Cynthia G is, she's still not indifferent. She still cares. That's the bottom line. She still cares. Whereas Priscilla is preaching indifference. Like, you know what they're gonna do, you know how they're gonna act. So it's either you got four options. Either A, deal with them, understanding how they are. Two, be a lesbian. Let's keep it honest. Most of these women are not gonna do. Three, be celibate, which again, most of these women are not gonna do. And four, uh, pleasure yourself, which most of these women are doing anyway, but most of these women doing it anyway, so it's like well, they doing the other one already. That's why they still, and that's why they mad because the self gratification is not enough. So that's why they still mad with the men. But regardless, especially when I'm a lesbian, so let's get together and it's like a lot of these women are like, we ain't lesbians. We don't like each other like that. That's another thing that why they have an issue. It's like let's be honest. A lot of women don't like women like that. You know, they talk about a sisterhood, but the sisterhood is only good when it's going against black men, or if you want to take it more of the white women, add white women, all these other women into it. The sisterhood is only good when it's going against men. Once the men are not in the picture, you see how that falls apart real quickly. So that's another issue. Is they ain't really that sisterhood that these women say they are. It is. It's only good against men. But once the men are out the picture, then it's every woman for themselves. And and again, what Priscilla is talking about has been done before. They've tried this before. There's other women who said, "Hey, stop giving these men pussy," and these women ignored them, laughed at them, and like, nah, we're still gonna give them pussy though. We're still gonna deal with these men. I don't know what you talking about. that so that's the but again, Priscilla is not a Kevin Samuel because even with all the talk that Kevin Samuel was talking about, he still wanted black men to be married. He still wanted black women to be married. His thing was that he was trying to teach the women how to get the high value man. Me, he was more or less teaching these men to be high price tricks, but that's just me. And he was teaching these women to be high price hoes. Because if you're talking about pretending to be fit, feminine, and friendly, well, it's a big bluff because you're not teaching these women about the character of the guy, and you're not teaching these guys about the character of the woman. So really, it's just high price, high prostitution, and it's dangerous for even both because if you're preaching to the women, well, these men have these options, and you just got to deal with it. And you're teaching these dudes, well, you can have these options, but you're not taking into account the court system. Then yeah, that's a big problem. You're setting these dudes up. Kevin was setting these dudes up to be high price tricks. Priscilla, on the other hand, is not, in my opinion, setting them up to be high price hoes. She's more or less use them to their own end. The only problem with that is, again, they can't practice indifference. And let's be fair, most people can't. And I think Verbal made a good point on her live stream. Nobody, the thing with indifference and leaving people alone, we are in a sense social creatures. We want people to notice us. And because we need people to notice us, as much as we want to shit on each gender, we do want each gender to notice us, even if to just know our pain. But unfortunately, here's where the reality is. People will hear your pain, but if they don't give a fuck about you, they ain't gonna give a fuck about your pain. I mean, listen, I mean, look at the example of Jeremy Brown. Clarissa Hood, a black woman, got punched. Was get, I mean, he was going to beat that chick down, and her son put bullets in her. Now, you would think we wouldn't bring attention to that. We wouldn't bring attention to the fact that this dude was known to be beating on women. But what did some of these women did? They put on T-shirts, "Knockout King," and was celebrating like this dude. Like this dude was just a champion of justice. And when some women, people called them out, they said, "I can do what the fuck I want to do." Making excuses. That's what you're dealing with out here. There's women who don't like women like that. And they need the attention of men, even if they're the most toxic of the toxic. If they make them feel something, they're gonna rock with them. That's what some of these women are on. That's why they give the pushback to Priscilla. Priscilla is like, look, stop worrying about these dudes. These women can't stop doing that. Even you talk about divestors and swirlers, they still talk about black men. And they let their hatred be known that they hate black men. A lot of the stuff that they do online is to go against black men. They go on channels that supposedly pro-black, and they want to vent. Where if you a swirler or a divester, why would you even care what black men are doing? Doesn't make sense. They can't be indifferent. They can't not care. So Priscilla's message is not going to work because the logical conclusion to all this is indifference. And most people cannot do indifference. Most people can't leave the other gender alone. They can't. They'll they will have the most vitriol for them, but that one person they will have that praise. You'll have black women. These black men, this. Then the black man said, "Yeah, these black men, this." They like, "Yeah, yeah, he's telling the truth." Like, wait a minute, you just said these black men lied and all this stuff, but you believe this guy. So again, they can't do indifference. And I remember that on Fresh and Fit when Priscilla was on that, and she was telling these girls, "Hey, these dudes are going to cheat on you. They're going to use you. They literally telling you they're going to use you. Why are you caring so much?" These women cannot. They can accept it to a point. Like the ugly dudes or the tricks, they'll use them. Yeah, yeah, we'll use them. But that guy that they really like, nah, I can't do that. Nah, I can't do it. And that's the point. And that's what I'm saying. Priscilla is not Kevin Samuels. Because as much as Kevin Samuels would talk down to women, he still did not preach indifference to these women. He never preached indifference. And even to the men, he never preached indifference. He never did. Now you can say, well, he preached not to mess with black women. Yeah, he preached, but he also preached if you're going to get with black women, understand how they are. But he never preached indifference. He still preached you still got to care in some degree to fashion. Priscilla's not teaching that. She's preaching indifference. She's not preaching these women get married. She's not preaching um, to be in certain type of relationship. She's saying do what's the most benefit for you. But in order to do that, you do have to have indifference. And again, most people can't do indifference. They can do it to certain people, but for certain people, they cannot do indifference, no matter how much is in their benefit to do so. And that's why I said you can't bring the message that Priscilla is bringing. You can't bring that to the mainstream. It's going to get watered down, just like Kevin's. His red pill ideology was watered down. By the time it got to the Nicki Minaj's and who else was it? Dang. Oh, what was that lady name? Forgot that her name. With women that actually had a lot more social power and economic power than him, he could not bring that message. And bringing it to the mainstream, he definitely didn't do it. He was working with Future. The Future, if we remember, he is the antithesis of what Kevin Samuel Kevin Samuel wanted black men to be. But yet he still worked with him. And I believe Kevin, if he would have stayed alive, he would have had a TV show and his message would still been watered down. Because again, you can't bring you see what happened with Fresh and Fit. You can't bring that red pill message and black pill message to the public. They're not going to take to it very well. And Priscilla is the same way. That you can't go mainstream with that message. Yeah, it'll be it's great for online. It's great. It sounds great. Don't get me wrong. Not caring about these dudes, even pimping the dudes. But you can't bring that mainstream. It's not going to work. Indifference is not going to work in the mainstream because the biggest thing is people need to feel like they exist, that someone cares. Even even if just somebody saying hello to people brightens people's day. Someone saying hello to you brightens up a person's day. That's why people can't do indifferent. And that's why I'm saying Priscilla's not Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels never preached indifference. She's doing that. She's more like Ramil Amir, and to agree, Thai City, because they preach indifference. And if most black men can't do indifference, I know most black women can't do it because they are the more nurturing of the two. So that's just my thought on that. Priscilla's not Kevin Samuels. The message is different, and I mean, she's the it girl right now. But let's just keep it a buck. It's gonna go the way like the red pill, the passport bros. It's the now thing. Give it about a year to people will be like, it is what it is. So me, I don't have no issue with it. I just know what it is as a black pillar. I know the message when I see it. I know indifference when I see it. But I also know that most people can't preach and most people can't practice it. They can say all this stuff. Black women are terrible. Black women are the worst mothers in the world. Black women are overweight. Blah blah blah. They still dealing with black women. These black men ain't this. These black men ain't this. They're the worst fathers of the world. They leave you with the baby. Blah blah blah. Still dealing with black men. I leave you with this one thing, which is another perfect example of can't practice indifference. On Faith's channel, they were talking about this black chick, got 5 kids. Okay, you think with 5 kids, the last thing you need to be doing is bringing in a dude who ain't got no job and ain't bringing nothing to the table. All right, she move in this guy, no job, no nothing. End up marrying the guy. Like, while I think they had one child, and then in the midst of her having the second child by this guy, he dips. Then he comes back. Now he dipped again. Now, ask yourself something. It would be better for her to be indifferent, but she can't. She needs a man around. She needs a man around. Now, I know that's more extreme, but there's a lot of women who need a man around. Even a gay man around. Because they need a man around, even just to talk to. It don't matter he broke. Don't matter he even straight. They just need a man around. That's why Priscilla's message is not gonna work too well. Because again, most people can't practice indifference. And most women can't practice indifference. You see it every day on social media. They can't do it. So that's why she's going to get the pushback she do. And well, I mean, it is what it is. And most men can't do it. Most women can't do it. Most people can't do it. It is what it is. And to do indifference takes a kind of mental strength that most people are not ready for. So, with that, I'm Brother Speak of the Brother Speak podcast. Tonight, we're going to go over the Derrick Jackson interview. I have my thoughts on it. I've had seen other people's thoughts on it, and I'm just gonna give my thoughts on it. I don't think that. Listen, I'm not sympathetic to the guy, but at the same time, I'm not gonna put more on him than what other people are trying to put on. So, but I'll let y'all decide that when I do the review. This is Brother Speak. Black men, be powerful or be powerless. The choice is yours. Peace.